It's just a different way to live when you live in a small town. You're more connected to community is something I think people are really longing for.
Right.
The difference between Hometown and other shows is that we know the people who did it.
Life has a funny way of shifting gears just when we think we've got it all figured out. Sometimes it's a quiet moment on a porch swing. Other times it's a glance in the mirror that changes everything. As we go through the ups and downs, something unexpected, a piece of news, a surprising transformation, or even a personal health journey can grab our attention and make us reevaluate what we think we know. In today's video, we're diving into a story that's both inspiring and eye-opening. It's not just about TV personalities or behind-the-scenes revelations. It's about how even those in the spotlight face very real, very human challenges. Whether it's a health struggle or a major life change, it's a reminder that everyone's story has layers. So stick around as we explore a journey that's been quietly unfolding while the cameras kept rolling. A story you probably didn't see coming. Let's talk about what really happened to Ben Napier from Hometown. When Hometown first aired in 2016, it wasn't just another home renovation show. It brought something different. Something deeply personal. At the heart of it all was Ben Napier, with his signature beard, infectious laugh, and timeless craftsmanship. Working alongside his wife, Aaron Napier, Ben quickly became more than just a co-host. He became the soul of the show. While Aaron dazzled with design magic, Ben was the muscle and heart, lifting beams, restoring old furniture, and bringing worn-down homes back to life with his bare hands. But beneath that strong, calm exterior, something was slowly taking its toll. Week after week, audiences tuned in to watch the transformation of houses, but what most people didn't know was that Ben was fighting a private battle. Behind the scenes, his right shoulder was becoming a major source of pain. It wasn't a new injury or a single moment gone wrong. It was years of wear and tear. From swinging hammers to lifting salvaged lumber, his body had absorbed the full weight of his work. And like many people who pride themselves on being tough and dependable, Ben kept going. He kept building, lifting, sanding, and sawing, even as the pain crept deeper. For a long time, he chose to power through. That's the kind of guy he is. Resting wasn't in the cards, not when there were deadlines, families waiting to move in, and a town counting on him. Maybe he figured it was just part of getting older or the price of doing what he loved. But pain doesn't disappear just because you pretend it's not there. It lingers, builds, and eventually, it demands attention. And for Ben, that moment came when the discomfort grew too persistent, too intense to ignore. By the time he finally addressed it, the damage had reached a point where surgery became the only real option. Shoulder surgery isn't something anyone looks forward to, especially someone like Ben, who relies on his body for so much of his identity and livelihood. Yet, when he went public about the operation, fans were struck by his honesty and vulnerability. It wasn't just about the physical recovery. It was about acknowledging the limits even the strongest people face. And in that moment, the guy who always seemed unshakable showed a different kind of strength. The courage to admit when something's wrong and take steps to fix it. Recovery didn't mean downtime for long, though. Ben's spirit didn't allow him to stay idle. Sure, there were physical therapy sessions and healing milestones, but there was also an overwhelming desire to get back to doing what he loves. Working with his hands, creating, and building something that lasts. The support from Aaron, their daughters, and fans across the country was overwhelming. That sense of community, the same feeling Hometown builds in every episode, came full circle. Just as Ben had poured energy into helping others find home, now people were sending that love right back to him. What's remarkable is how this chapter in his life deepened the connection fans already felt. Ben wasn't just the strong carpenter anymore. He was human, relatable, someone who hurt and healed just like the rest of us. It added a whole new layer to the show and to the man himself. Because sometimes, strength doesn't come from lifting heavy things. It comes from knowing when to ask for help, when to slow down, and when to put yourself first so you can keep going. In March 2023, everything came to a head for Ben Napier. After pushing through years of chronic pain, he made the difficult but necessary decision to go under the knife. This wasn't just a tune-up, it was a major procedure. Surgeons repaired a torn rotator cuff, trimmed away damaged cartilage, and shaved down a bone spur that had been causing him relentless discomfort. Each one of those issues on its own would sideline most people, but all three— that's a heavy price to pay for years of physical labor and not slowing down. The rotator cuff, which keeps the shoulder stable and allows for controlled arm movement, is crucial, especially for someone who swings hammers, lifts beams, and maneuvers bulky furniture for a living. A tear there isn't just painful, it's debilitating. Add cartilage damage and a bone spur rubbing against the joint, and the pain must have been nearly constant. The fact that Ben continued working as long as he did shows just how tough, and perhaps how stubborn he really is. Going into surgery wasn't just about physical relief. It also meant taking a step back from the world he's so immersed in. No more long days on job sites. No more filming segments that required lifting, sawing, or demonstrating woodworking techniques. For a guy used to doing it all, that was a hard adjustment. But Ben knew it was time. He had to give his body a chance to heal fully and properly. Once the surgery was over, the road ahead wasn't exactly smooth. Recovery from a shoulder operation is demanding and slow. The sling was just the beginning. Keeping his arm immobilized for weeks was necessary to protect the repair. From there, physical therapy took over, starting with basic range of motion exercises. Even the simplest tasks, putting on a shirt, opening a door, suddenly became daily hurdles. For someone as active as Ben, it was an entirely new rhythm of life. He's not the type to complain, but the challenge was real. The recovery timeline stretched across months. Lifting anything more than a few pounds was strictly off-limits. Every small victory, raising his arm a little higher, rotating his shoulder with less pain, marked progress. But that progress was hard-earned, and it came with frustration, patience, and a whole lot of support. During this time, Hometown had to adapt as well. The show's dynamic shifted. Aaron, who had always played a central role in the design, leaned even more into that role, while production had to find ways to work around Ben's limitations. Fans might have noticed fewer scenes of him on ladders or hauling lumber, but his presence never faded. If anything, it evolved. He leaned more into storytelling, offering wisdom and warmth, even when he wasn't swinging a hammer. This slower pace brought a different kind of clarity. It gave Ben time to reflect, not just on his body, but on how much he had been carrying for so long. It also revealed the importance of balance, taking care of yourself so you can continue taking care of others. As the months rolled on and his strength began to return, there was a renewed sense of purpose. Not just to build homes, but to build a healthier, more sustainable way forward. The journey through surgery and recovery didn't weaken Ben Napier, it reshaped him. And in that transformation, Viewers got to see not only a craftsman and TV host, but a human being navigating real challenges with honesty and heart. Ben Napier's transformation after shoulder surgery wasn't just about healing an injury. It set off a chain reaction that led to something even more jaw-dropping: a 95-pound weight loss. For fans who had grown used to seeing his familiar frame on Hometown, the change was striking. But beyond the numbers on a scale, it was a reflection of something deeper. A complete shift in how he approached his health, his energy, and his future. This wasn't a vanity project. Ben had never been one to chase trends or care much about appearances. He'd always embraced his larger build with confidence, a trait that only made him more relatable to audiences. But carrying that extra weight had its cost. The strain on his joints, the fatigue, and the silent toll it took on his overall health, it all added up. Shoulder pain was the red flag, but it wasn't the only signal his body was sending. Once he made it through surgery and entered recovery mode, Ben had a decision to make. He could return to his old habits and lifestyle, or he could use this moment as a reset. He chose the latter, and the results were nothing short of inspiring. Losing nearly 100 pounds doesn't happen by accident. It takes relentless dedication, and in Ben's case, it meant completely overhauling his daily routine. The process started with food. Cleaner meals, portion control, and a renewed focus on nutrition became the foundation. Gone were the indulgent Southern comfort meals that had once been a staple. In their place, balanced, intentional eating that supported his recovery and weight goals. But diet was just one piece of the puzzle. As soon as his shoulder allowed, Ben began incorporating exercise into his daily life, not just as a phase, but as a permanent part of his routine. These changes didn't just slim him down, they energized him. Viewers noticed the physical difference, but what mattered more was how Ben felt. Stronger, more mobile, healthier, and more present for the people who mattered most: Aaron and their daughters. Weight loss became more than a personal goal. It became a gift to his family, a way of ensuring he'd be around longer and with more vitality than before. Beneath the surface of this physical transformation was another factor driving Ben forward: his struggle with high blood pressure. It was one of those silent issues that many people overlook until it becomes dangerous. Left unmanaged, hypertension can lead to heart disease, stroke, and other life-threatening conditions. And while Ben had always powered through aches and pains in the past, this was different. It was internal, invisible, and potentially fatal. That realization changed everything. The numbers from his checkups were sobering, and he took them seriously. It wasn't enough to just feel strong. He needed to be healthy. This was more than about fitting into smaller clothes or getting back to work faster. It was about staying alive, staying active, and staying involved in the lives of his loved ones. For so many fans, Ben's journey has become a beacon. Not because he made it look easy, but because he showed the hard truth that meaningful change comes from hard choices. That real strength sometimes means slowing down, reassessing, and rebuilding from the inside out. His transformation wasn't quick or flashy. It was steady, intentional, and rooted in something we all understand: wanting to be there for the people we love for as long as we can. Ben Napier's journey took a powerful turn when he began to rethink the way he approached his daily life. After years of pouring every ounce of energy into building homes, crafting furniture, and managing the demands of a hit television show, the pace finally caught up with him. Surgery was a wake-up call, not just for his body, but for his mindset. That old belief of pushing through the pain, of always putting work first, began to lose its grip. Something else started to take its place. A deep and lasting commitment to health before hustle. This wasn't a surface-level adjustment. It was a full lifestyle recalibration. For a long time, success had been defined by how much he could do, how many houses he could help restore, and how tirelessly he could work to meet filming schedules. But over time, that drive came at a cost. Constant fatigue, nagging pain, and missed moments at home began to weigh heavier than ever. That's when Ben started to shift gears, not slowing down out of weakness, but out of wisdom. He started choosing rest when needed, tuning into what his body was telling him, and putting more emphasis on being present, not just productive. This new mindset filtered into every part of his life. He spoke more openly about what it meant to show up for his family, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and healthily. His daughters didn't need a superhero who never sat still. They needed a dad who could play, laugh, and be fully present. Aaron, his partner in both life and business, stood by him through every part of this transition. And what unfolded between them was not just a strengthened bond, but a shared vision that respected balance over burnout. Naturally, these personal shifts began to influence Hometown as well. Longtime fans of the show may have noticed subtle changes. Ben wasn't always the one hoisting heavy materials or demolishing walls. Aaron took on a more prominent leadership role in some episodes, and the show leaned into storytelling and heart more than ever before. It wasn't just about the visual drama of transformation, it was about how homes reflect the health and soul of the people inside them. The production crew made adjustments too, creating space for Ben to heal and work smarter, not harder. Rather than gloss over these changes, Hometown leaned into them. The authenticity that fans had always loved became even more real. People saw a man who was evolving in front of the camera, not as a scripted storyline, but as life unfolding in real time. And they responded with overwhelming support. Messages poured in, not only from fans who admired Ben's carpentry, but from those who saw themselves in his struggle, who knew what it meant to chase dreams at the expense of personal well-being. What stood out most was how this transformation never felt like a detour from his mission. It felt like a deepening of it. By slowing down, Ben was able to engage more meaningfully in the work he did. Every project, every interaction on set, and every moment with Aaron and the crew carried a renewed sense of intention. The work wasn't just about restoring houses. It was about modeling a lifestyle that valued sustainability, not just success. This shift in mindset reminded everyone watching that real strength isn't about doing more. It's about knowing what really matters and having the courage to live accordingly. Throughout everything Ben Napier has faced, the pain, the surgery, the recovery, and the massive lifestyle overhaul, there's been one constant presence beside him: Aaron Napier. Her role in this journey hasn't just been that of a supportive spouse, but of a true partner in every sense. While the spotlight often captures Ben in the shop or on a job site, it's Aaron who has consistently lifted him up, both in private and public moments. As Ben prepared for surgery and began facing the reality of his health struggles, Aaron didn't just step in, she stood strong. She kept fans informed in her signature way, warm, honest, and fiercely loyal. On social media, she shared glimpses of what they were going through, not in a dramatic way, but with honesty that made it clear how deeply invested she was in his well-being. Whether it was posting updates from the hospital or Sharing quiet family moments during Ben's recovery, Aaron let people in, and by doing so, she gave a face to what true partnership looks like when things get hard. She celebrated every milestone along the way, applauding his weight loss, cheering on his new fitness goals, and highlighting the emotional growth that came with it. What fans saw wasn't just pride in his transformation, but admiration for his strength and vulnerability. Aaron didn't just support from the sidelines. She was part of the journey, adjusting her own routines and the dynamic of hometown to make space for Ben to heal properly. The show's tone shifted slightly, and Aaron naturally stepped up when needed, often leading in areas where Ben needed to step back. Their bond, already admired by millions, only deepened in the eyes of viewers. People saw not just a creative duo, but a couple facing real-life challenges with grace and unity. It made their story even more compelling, not because everything was perfect, but because they navigated the imperfections together. As Ben's physical transformation became more visible, fans couldn't help but notice. Comments poured in online. At first, there was confusion, questions about his health, and speculation about what was going on behind the scenes. Was he sick? Was something wrong? The change was so dramatic that many viewers were genuinely concerned. But when the details came out, shoulder surgery, months of recovery, intentional lifestyle changes, the narrative flipped. The concern turned into applause. People from all walks of life started to relate to Ben's story. The dad is trying to get healthier for his kids. The craftsman pushing through pain. The person realizes they've ignored their health for too long. Social media became flooded with support, not just with congratulations, but with fans sharing their own struggles and triumphs. Messages of solidarity, gratitude, and inspiration echoed across platforms. What made it resonate wasn't just the weight loss or the surgery, it was Ben's honesty. He didn't try to mask the challenges or pretend it was easy, and that vulnerability gave others permission to be real about their own journeys. For many, seeing someone like Ben go through such a change reminded them that it's never too late to choose health, to slow down, and to prioritize family over hustle. Ben and Aaron didn't just renovate homes, they unintentionally renovated hearts. And in doing so, they reminded everyone that true transformation isn't just about what you build. Sometimes, it's about what you rebuild inside yourself with the right person standing beside you. So, what really happened to Ben Napier? A lot more than meets the eye. From shoulder surgery to shedding nearly 100 pounds and reimagining what health and success look like, Ben's journey is both personal and powerful. It's a reminder that no matter how public your life may be, the biggest transformations often happen behind closed doors. What do you think about Ben's health journey? Were you surprised by the changes? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more behind-the-scenes stories, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.